quick talk about the subject of study. And there's a bit of a, I would say disease of people having opinions based on, not on their own observations necessarily. And it's okay if your source of information is totally correct. You could still be okay. If you were just told things and you were 100% accurate all the time, as far as the value of that information, you'd be fine. But you would still lack some kind of fundamental understanding. But if all the data that you were given was correct, you could still operate. But to have your own judgment about something and to form your own opinion about something is, before you've actually studied it, is a big mistake. And I think there's very few things that I've actually personally studied. But the things that I have studied, I know them well, and I know the history of those subjects, and I also know what the words mean in those subjects. That's about it to a study. And then after that, practice. If there's a skill involved, practice until you're good at doing it. Especially in the Bitcoin community, having opinions without actually studying the history of the monetary supply and the history of, for example, the United States or something like that, it's a big mistake. It's a big mistake to just have broad, sweeping generalizations that you substitute for as an education. And I don't mean this to be mean. I just mean this that you'll be inaccurate, and you won't be able to discern between certain situations where things are not black and things are not just white. Sometimes it's mostly black and a little white, or mostly white and a little black. And for all the steps in between, you need judgment. In order to have judgment on a subject, you absolutely must, to some degree, have studied the history and timeline of that subject and really learned it, okay? And the other thing is, don't go by words you don't know what they mean, and don't pretend you know what words mean when you don't. Be honest, and then you'll find yourself with judgment where you don't have to have fixed ideas regarding economics, money and all, any subject though. But particularly in the subject of money, where it's intentionally confusing, one has to be extremely diligent to constantly be learning new words, and also to continuously go back over the timeline. It's not enough to say that, for example, Rome's monetary system was like this, was A and then B. It's not true. It changed over time. And to think that you know one little tidbit of history and to apply that to all of the timeline of that subject is a huge mistake. Things gradiently and gradually change and improve, and when you know the whole story behind something, you can have a concept of how the thing developed, and now you can have your place in time with that subject. And I think instead of having a defensive need to enforce one's own opinion, make sure that one spends time studying the actual timeline, and be honest with yourself if you're not sure. And if you're not sure about something, just say you're not sure. But I just see a lot of false information in this world. I see a lot of fixed ideas that are substitutes for actual study, substitutes for actual understanding, and substitutes for actually looking. Because once you look, you can then decide. Go back and start taking a look at the things that you do and see, do I honestly know what all those words mean in my subject? Do I really know the history of this? How did it start? You know, how did it evolve? Where are we today? Be honest. And I think you're going to find yourself with a much happier life. Thank you.